Hey, Pastor Mark here with another parenting video. We live in a world where screens have become such a distraction that screen time is almost a negative word. And as parents and as people who care about this younger generation, it's difficult because sometimes our reaction tends to be,
let's take all the screens away.
Or how about no screens? That'll be the solution.
But one of the things I think we need to do is to keep our eye on the calendar. What do you mean by that, Pastor Mark? I'm glad you asked. You see, we know it. They're getting older. And we need to realize that when our kids turn 18, they're going to be out on their own in some college dorm or some apartment, working a job or some army barracks. And they're definitely going to have screens and they're going to be making those decisions on their own. One of the questions we should probably be asking is this: are we preparing them for that day? So as good as you know screen time limits are, and as loving as guardrails and boundaries can be, these are very healthy things that we shouldn't rely on solely. What may happen is that we may make screens a bad thing. And as a matter of fact, if we come in and our son is playing a video game, we know that our first reaction shouldn't be, hey, is your video game time up? Maybe our first response could be, hey, that looks like a really cool game. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're working on? Or maybe I can try it. Maybe I could sit down with you and try to play that game. Some of the most interesting conversations that I've had with my kids were while we were playing a game, and yes, also including video games. I've also learned by listening to them while they're playing video games. And I've even heard them talking about their faith to other people. Now, okay, that was definitely the exception, not the norm. But what an opportunity to talk about some of the positives and to bridge a gap between our worlds. Sometimes once you enter into their world and a conversation happens, guess what? Conversations is where we pass on values. So let's not throw out screens, but instead prepare kids to be responsible with screens, and we can actually use screens as connection points to hang out with them in the world and to engage them in meaningful conversations. Now, if you encounter questionable content on the video game that they're playing, don't just immediately reprimand them. Talk about how they feel the content may be affecting them, and make sure you revisit that conversation after some prayer. I think that allowing them to come to these resolutions on their own can help them to think for themselves rather than just being preached at. And let's be honest, one of the reasons that we as parents struggled with our own church hurt is because of a well-meaning adult that berated rather than trying to understand. I hope this helps you as much as it helped Kristen and I on our own faith and parenting journey. Make sure you check out the blog link below for more information and to go further in depth on this topic.